Hello, friends. Today we are going to talk about very important personality in Islam. Unfortunately, normally in the world there are 2 billion Muslims, but neither Muslims nor Christians they're thinking over their religions. Long time ago, I was an atheist and a communist person. And I had a lot of questions on my mind, especially after believing in God. And as a socialist person, I always liked slaves in the history and their painful and grievy stories of the slaves, such as Spartacus. Spartacus, he was a rebel against Roman Empire. He knew that he was going to be killed by the Roman soldiers in the end of the day. Nevertheless, Spartacus and his friends, they fought against Roman soldiers to get their freedom. I already told that they knew they were not going to get their freedom easily from Roman soldiers, Roman Empire. During the time of Spartacus, Roman Empire was a republic, but that kind of republic was protecting only some elites, some upper classes, some Roman citizens. But if you are a slave, you are nothing. They were raping, using your power, selling, buying, the trade of slaves. And when we look at the history, there are other sad stories, such as Ruth's Alex Haley. In 1980s, I read his book, Roots. There was a slave, his name was Kunta Kinte. He was kidnapped and he was sold in USA. And his life was very painful. He suffered a lot. I had great sympathy for the slaves, really. And when I started reading Quran, I was very surprised that inside of the Quran there was a name. In fact, there were many Muslims around of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. My question was about Abu Lahab. Abu Lahab was the only non-believer person in Quran, and his name was mentioned in the Masad or Tabbat chapter. He was the uncle of Prophet Muhammad, and Allah cursed him and gave the message for the Muslims about Abu Lahab that he was going to go to hellfire together with his wife, and his wife was going to get some woods in hellfire for her husband, Abu Lahab. Abu Lahab means, when we translate into English, the father of fire. Yes, father of fire. And he became the wood of fire when he went to uh, hell. Long time ago, when I was in Ankara, there was a church father, Protestant church father. He had become he had converted to Christianity after learning Islam at school. I asked him a direct question why he had chosen Christianity. He gave me a brief reply. He said, Normally, Allah, the God, should have used the language of love, but when I saw the language of hatred for Abu Lahab, then I gave up being Muslim and I quit Islam. And he quitted Islam, he converted Christianity, and he told the reason of this just because of Abu Lahab chapter. I like reading and observing very much, really. Those days I had converted to Islam from deism. I was atheist, then I became deist, and I had chosen Islam. I checked that part, really. Tabbat yada Abu Lahab, and it goes like this in Arabic. His name really was mentioned in Quran in that chapter. And he was right, that church father, because Allah was using the language of hatred and only one man, non-believer, around of Prophet Muhammad those days. Allah never mentions about Abu Jahl or some other guys, but only Abu Lahab. It took my many years really to find the real reason that Abu Lahab's name was written in Quran. I told myself, come on, Ayhan, you were former atheist and communist. You used your mind and you became Islam. Allah used dialectic language and system inside of Quran. Algorithmically, everything was mentioned in Quran, step by step. Then, if you want to find the reason why Abu Lahab's name written in Quran, then you have to check Quran and if you must find a Muslim name which is going to be the opposite of Abu Lahab. Abu Lahab is the uncle of Prophet Muhammad, and he was non-believer. Dialectly, you have to find one Muslim, but he shouldn't have any relation, blood connection with Prophet Muhammad. That kind of Muslim that you are looking for, maybe he is or she is going to be the answer for you. I checked Quran, whole Quran. I was expecting finding the name of Abu Bakr Siddiq, his close friend, and he was the first caliph of Islam. He was a great, biggest name right after Prophet Muhammad in Sunni world. I checked, but his name was not written in Quran. And his name was mentioned as a number, second of two, when he was in cave together with Prophet Muhammad doing a hijrah. We traveled from Mecca to Medina, the biggest event of Islam. Abu Bakr was together with him, but even his name was not written in Quran. Who was this guy? Who was this person? I found his name. His name was, he was a slave, and he was freed when he was very young by Prophet Muhammad. And he never went back to Yemen, his country. He preferred staying together with Prophet Muhammad until he died. This man's name is Zayd bin Haris. He was from Yemen, and his name was mentioned in Quran. Why his name? Abu Lahab had the same blood with Prophet Muhammad, but not same heart with Prophet Muhammad. But Zayd bin Haris, he had no same blood with Prophet Muhammad. They didn't have the same blood. No blood relation. No, no any connection, relative uh, connection together with Prophet Muhammad. But Zayd had heart connection with Prophet Muhammad. That was much more important. And Zayd bin Haris was a slave and his name was written in Quran. Today, when we look at the Sunni world, they are always talking about Abu Bakr, Abu Bakr, Abu Bakr, or Umar, Umar, Umar. And the Shia world is always speaking about Abbas, Abbas, or, 12 caliphs, or Ali always, all the time. Sunni world and the Shia world, they are uh, they are conflicting. They are arguing about these four caliphs. They didn't want to see the slaves inside of Islam. The slaves were freed and very important characters. I only told you just only one slave. His name was Zayd bin Haris, and the first Muslim, together with Hatija, mother, the Prophet Muhammad's wife. And but nevertheless, the Zayd was so important because after many years, his father came to Medina. He had found his son in Medina, and he requested Prophet Muhammad, "Oh, Prophet Muhammad, can you please give me permission to take my son to take back Yemen because his mother missed him very much." Prophet Muhammad said, "He's a free man. He's not slave anymore. He can go wherever he wants," Prophet Muhammad said. He was very happy, directly ran to his son's home, and he said, "Come on, son, come on, let's go to Yemen. Your mother is going to be very happy. I got the permission, Prophet Muhammad gave me this permission, and we are going. Come on." But Zayd was very sad. He said, "I can't come." His father was very sad just because of this unexpected reply. And he asked, "Why?" And Zayd said, "Listen, father, Prophet Muhammad came from Mecca to Medina. His own relatives, his own neighbors didn't want him to see in Mecca. Only we, former slaves, we were always around of him. Not only me. Bilal, he was from Africa. He was a slave. He is a freed slave. And Salman bin Farisi from Persia. And Suhail is from Roman Empire. Gorani is a Kurd. And Sumaya is the first Shaheed. And she was from Turkestan. If I go back to Yemen, they're going to have the same right to go back to their countries. So I can't come." His father was very surprised for this answer, unexpected answer. And he said, "What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to tell your mother? Just because of this reason you're not coming. Okay, but it's not going to be easy to tell your mother." He said, "Look, Dad, I love my mother very much. Tell her I missed her very much. Tell her I missed her food very much. Tell her I missed Yemen and the streets of SUNNAH very much. And My missing is bigger and bigger and bigger every day, but I can't come because I have a mission in Medina. That's why I can't come. I have to be here around the Prophet Muhammad and defend Medina, Zayd said. This is the first slave and one of the most important slave, maybe the most important Sahaba in Islam, was not mentioned by Sunnis and Shias just because of the religious sect's fanaticism. While they are conflicting each other, imperialism and Zionism, they are playing with Muslims everywhere. So we have to come ourselves. I'm going to talk about the slaves just to open the eyes of Muslims all around the world. Maybe some Christians or some other, the Jews who have conscience in their heart, they are going to understand really what Islam is. Yes, what is the important another slave, urgent Muslim? Her name is Sumaya. She was the mother of Ammar bin Yasir, very important and very famous Sahaba. She's very important. She's as important as Zayd because Zayd is the first Muslim, first Sahaba. His name was written in Quran, and Sumayya is important because she is the first Shaheed of Islam. She died for Islam. She was killed by the mushriks, polytheists of Mecca. Do you know how? I will tell you why and how she was killed by the Meccan polytheists. Very rich and snobby and arrogant Meccan mushrik. He was torturing weak Sumaya on the hot desert sand. She was laying, and her hands, her wrists, and her ankles were chained, and he was crying. He was shouting her at her face and saying, "Say Hubal, Hubal." Hubal is the uh, the god of Meccan mushriks, and it is the god of now the satanic Illuminati. He has different names, but he's the same shit. Doesn't matter. Hubal or Habal. Baal. Baal. Now, the satanic Illuminati is giving every award for cinema, for literature, for everything, for those guys serving for the Satan only. Because they have got money, they have got power, and they believed the power comes from the money only. They are wrong because the power doesn't come from money only. In capitalist world, the money is important to stand up. Yes, in capitalist world. But it is not enough to have the real power. The real power comes from justice, conscience, wisdom, and generosity, and forgiveness. These four important elements. You don't have this. Satanic Illuminati doesn't have this. We have Ali for wisdom, air. In the east of Kaaba, Abu Bakr in the north of Kaaba, generosity and earth. Umar ibn al-Khattab in the western part of Kaaba, fire. Ramadan means oven. And the south of Kaaba is Osman bin Affan, forgiveness. Of course, these four guys had some mistakes while they were living because they were not angels. But nevertheless, Ali was not arrogant like you. He was modest, Ali. And Abu Bakr Siddiq, he was generous. He was not greedy like you. Your economy definition is a rubbish. Economy is the controlling, very short sources, very limited sources. You're describing this at the schools of economy in the world. The shit of Adam Smith. You made them believe this shit. Economy is good with zakah, sadaqah, not with interest rate. Interest rate makes you rich only. But zakah, sadaqah, generosity stops static economical situation. Yes, you knew it, but you don't want to say it. Anyway, Umar ibn al-Khattab, his heart was lion heart. He was against any kind of violence in the west of KAABA. The courage, the real power. You will lose satanic Illuminati. And your God, Baal, Hubal, the whatever, however you call him or her, doesn't matter. You will lose, either in this world or in the other world. Either you choose Islam, which means peace, if you are looking for, but I don't think so, because you are the slave of happiness. Peace makes you free. That is why the slaves in Arabian Peninsula, they had chosen Islam, like Sumayya. Sumayya was killed by the snobby, arrogant shit man, killed her with despair and sinking into her womb. Why womb? Because it was a Muslim woman. They are giving a birth. And they are the source of life. Mothers are very important and they are the main pillar of the revolution. Yes, that's true. That is why they killed Sumayya. Very important figure of Islam. She was slave and she was the first shaheed. Who speaks this? Sunnis or Shias? Shiitans. They're very busy about the contest of urinate, about religious sect. Sunnis or Shiitans. Yes, mostly. When we look at, and when you ask any Sunni, what is real Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad? They will tell you, mostly, the Sunnahs only inside of the house. How he went to toilet with the left leg, he was entering, left foot, and he was going out with the right one. Still they're discussing this. And you eat with your right hands in the kitchen. And you dream only the right side in the bedroom, having a long beard and also the turban on the head. Yes, they are telling the Sunnah. I'm going to tell you very important Sunnah, but they would never want to talk about it. I will tell you now. The Quran says, when you give inheritance, when somebody dies or before dying, he gives inheritances. And while delivering the inheritances, the Quran says, give some share to the orphans, poor people, the people, those in need. Give them some share. You know what Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did? He gave all of it to the poor people. Look at the Abu Bakr Siddiq. He never left money for his kids. He gave all his money to the poor people. When we look at the many Sahabas those days, they followed Prophet Muhammad's sunnahs about heritage. Do you hear this anywhere else? No, because they don't want to talk about money giving the poor people, especially the orphans. Orphans giving money to the orphans and making them rich. They don't like this. In the Islam, the orphan means yatim. When we translate into English, it's orphan, but the Islamic meaning and this concept, yatim, the one who has nothing, money or power or anyone who needs help. It's only a symbolic explanation, really. And Jesus Christ, he was the greatest yatim in the world. That is why he was called as Son of the God. That means the orphan of God. But who changed the meaning of this? Son of God. He was crucified by his father just because of the other sins. And God came again this world. Explanations, which is confusing Christian minds. It was not like this before. How was it? I will tell you. Those days, especially, let me tell you, all the prophets, they had either no father or mother, or they stayed um, without parents. They grown up without parents. Why? Because they should have had free mind. If you have got your parents, your parent will teach you her belief or his belief. A yatim has got more free minds. That is why prophets were yatim. They had no father, no mother, mostly. And Jesus Christ had no father. Biologically, he had no father. And he was the greatest yatim, and he was the symbol which must be help for the yatim people. But they had to make this forget, collecting money for the yatims instead of church. Not good idea. That is why the first church of the world was built by Mr. Peter in Antakya. I visited there, and it was the first church of the world. Who knew it? Why do we need church? Why do we need very big houses or big buildings, jamis, or the big buildings? But what is the most important one? Jami or the yatim? Yatim, orphan. And the Jesus was orphan also. That doesn't make him a powerless person. He had power in his heart, on his mind. But symbolically, Jesus also gave the message. I'm going to give this information in another video, not this time. I want to talk about Sumayya and her son. Her son was very important Sahaba. His name was um, Ammar bin Yasir. He had a wonderful, great life, really. He was the biggest revolutionist. No one knows his life very much about him in Islam. Please observe his life, Ammar bin Yasir, because rulers didn't like him very much. He was beaten and he was thrown at the gate, at the door of his relative, when he said all the truths to the ruler. He was very good man, as her mother also. He was very nice person, but he was also slave. Why today's Muslims are not speaking about these slave origin Muslims, and they are talking about the some Sahabas. I'm not against of speaking about rich Sahabas, but why not speaking about slave origin Muslims? Why aren't you doing this? Because either Muslims or Christian minds were enslaved and they don't want to see the reality about Islam and real Christianity. Anyway, this was Sumayya and the Shaheed, first Shaheed Sahaba, friend of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And I hope and I wish really to see these Sahabas in the other world if I can go to heaven. I don't know where I'm going. I can only hope. I can only hope. And hope is the very important feeling. You can't be sure about going heaven. If you are sure, day by day, thinking, guaranteeing heaven, you are going to be satanized. Why? Because you will think, I am the part of heaven. I am going to go to heaven. This makes you Satan on earth before you die. We can only hope. We can't know our end. We must try for the good end on this world. We must be modest, like Ali, like Luca. We must be generous, like Abu Bakr, like Matthew. We must be courageous and just, like Umar ibn al-Khattab, like Marcus. And we have to forgive. We mustn't have revenge in our heart. We mustn't have that kind of bad feeling. We must forgive. We have seen this in the life of Osman ibn al-Khattab. Sorry, Osman bin Affan. And this is John in Christianity. For elements, for caliphs, and for Bible writers. They are symbols. Are we thinking daily about the corners of Quran and directions of cross? No. Because mostly millions of in the world, people, they are not thinking daily. They don't want to see only money, arrogance, sex, drugs, these kind of things. They don't want us to think. They are giving drugs, they are giving football matches, or they are giving fashion for the woman. We have a lot of chains. So the cure is Islam, really, which means peace. Because following and running after happiness is the carrot for the rabbits like us. So, what I can say, another slave, origin Muslim, his name is Bilal. He was an African black, in English, colored, they say. In Turkish, we say zenci also, and zenci is another insulting word for Africans because We respect Africans just because of also Bilal Habeshi. He was from Habeshistan. He was from Ethiopia. He was a slave, and he was ordered to slash and hit Ammar bin Yasir, and he refused in front of his masters, in front of his owners. And when he refused to hit Ammar bin Yasir, they were very surprised and afraid of the things and the days which are coming, because slaves would soon revolt against the rulers of Mecca. Yes, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the greatest orphan and slave revolter. He was a revolutionist. You were very surprised when I told you. He was a socialist. He was a revolutionist. But one difference. What is that? Any socialist or communist in the world, they have no morality for revolution. Kill anyone, whatever it costs. Success, arrive the revolution, whatever it takes, whatever it costs. Terrorism, killing, these kind of things. What is the difference between the Prophet Muhammad's revolutionary way and the communist and socialist way? The biggest difference is the way of Prophet Muhammad had morality. If you want to reach a legal result, you must go on your way legally, not illegally, with morality and responsibility. There's two important feelings: morality and responsibility. This is the symbol in Islam with a stone in the east of KAABA, that is Hajarul Aswad. That means black stone. That black stone reminds Muslims, don't be stoned, don't be stoned. What does it mean, don't be stoned and don't be stoned? Like the friends, please listen to me. Don't be stoned. Those days, the Muslims, if you are a immoral person, you were being stoned. If you are lying, they were saying, don't lie. With the small lies, small stones. If you were saying big lies, they were stoning you with the big stones. That is why Prophet Muhammad was stoned with the big stones in Taif, because Taif people thought that he was lying terribly. But he was not lying. They didn't know that. So stone is very important symbol in the east of Kaaba. We are not worshipping that stone. That reminds us, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, and keeping us being stoned and being stoned. Anyway, let's talk about Bilal. He was the first Muslim who recited Azan al-Sharif, calling for prayers. All the Muslims around the world, first time he recited in Mecca. Can you imagine? An African, a black, you say, colored. He recited, he called all the people for the praying first time. At the top of the Kaaba, he climbed up there and he called people. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. By the way, Allah means is in English. The correct translation is the unique God. Because Allah comes from Al-Ilah. Al means the, Ilah means God. That makes him unique, the unique God, the God. Nothing can be God. There are no gods of football. There are no gods of seas or somewhere. It's from the Greek mythology. But Bilal, he was a very courageous man, and he was slave. He was very famous person normally, but not mentioned too much, as much as Abu Bakr or Ali, Umar or Osman. But he was very important person. Just because of him, many Africans converted to Islam in the United States, in Africa, and in Europe. There are some black people in Europe too, who migrated from African countries. Yes, Bilal Habeshi. And I mentioned you today about 3 slaves, very important slaves. The man whose name was mentioned in Quran, only his name was written around the Prophet Muhammad. Let's remind, his name is Zayd bin Haris. Another one, Sumaya, is the first Shaheed. She was from Central Asia. She was slave. She was kidnapped and she was made slave. She was enslaved in Arabia after being kidnapped. And Bilal Habeshi. This is the third one, third slave. Please talk about these 3 slaves everywhere. Prophet Muhammad was Arabian Spartacus. Big difference. He was guided by Allah, the God, the owner of universes. Not only one universe, of course, all the universes. He was the controller. He is Kavi, he is Qayyum. He has 99 names which were written in our hands. 8, 1, 8, 1, 81 and 80, 18 and 81 together with 99 names. That is why we are praying Allah and we are wishing everything from him after thinking with the air finger and our earth, courage, fire, and water, conscious, forgiving, and our souls, of course. We must work for it. That is why we are walking in between Safa and Marwa, from the east part of Kaaba to the north part of Kaaba. What are we doing there? Walking. What is the name of that walking? Endeavor, working. When we translate into Arabic, that is amal. We must work very hard, and we must think. Thank you very much being with me, Ayhan Özcümbet, and please try to watch my English TV programs for Africa, Afro-Turk TV. I'm living in Macedonia now, and whenever I find time, I make TV programs for Africa, national channel of Turkey, broadcasting from Ankara to African brothers. My TV programs, Afro-Turk TV, please write the Google, and Faith and Astrology, Discover World, and Unknown History. These TV programs are very important. Please keep following it. See you. Thank you.